What's up, y'all? You know who it is, your boy JP here, hoping to make your install life a whole lot easier. Today we got a real simple amp board that we're going to do. It is 2 parts, so let's go ahead and get started with part number 1. First thing we want to do is measure out our amp board, and since we're using 1/8 inch, I want to go ahead and score using my box cutter, break that piece at the end. Then we want to go ahead and mount the amplifier to it, and the first thing I want to do is mount the RCA. We are going to be using the hole drill method, where we just drill both sides of the wire and then use some zip ties. A lot of people get on to me about using a whole lot of zip ties. Bro, we're not going to use that much. We might use 20 on this board. That's how simplistic we're trying to get it. Basically, we're going to be mounting this amplifier up under the driver's seat. We need the RCAs going to the front. We need the speaker wire going towards the rear, and we'll show you how we route everything else. This is how we're going to do the RCA, just down the side to the left, making some nice clean 90-degree bends. And then once we're done with the RCA, we want to run to our power and ground connection. A lot of people ask me, how do I crimp my ferrules? I use the same iCrimp crimping tool that I've always been using. I do 2 crimps per ferrule on the heavy gauge stuff, just because I want to crimp the bottom and the top. You definitely want to crimp those ferrules, because if they're not crimped properly, when you set it inside the amplifier, it can cause some resistance because you're not getting a tight connection. As we're pulling on this wire, you can see that my connection is tight, so we know that that one is good to go. It's not that easy finding the correct crimp when you're doing car audio. Reason being, a lot of our heavy gauge terminals are circular, and sometimes when you crimp it, you're either going to get a box or some type of rectangle square type of situation. That box square style will not go into the circle all the time, so we got to find the right style crimper. Now, I was looking at some crimpers, and I was looking at some B style crimp and some U style crimps. I may actually make a video trying different ones to see what fits correctly inside the amp. Even though I like this hexagon style because it gives me that hexagon, it slides in perfectly, but I do notice that I can't always use the 4 gauge crimp on this one. I have to go down to the 6 gauge, which makes it a little bit tighter and gives me more of a hexagonal shape, and it tightens it down small enough to go inside with no problems. If I could find one that did 5 gauge, that would be absolutely perfect, but I'm still trying to figure out the best way to go. Now that we're done with the power and ground connection, we want to zip tie that down to the board. We're only using 4 at the bottom. Then we want to go onto the sub wire connection. We are using a 12 gauge speaker wire, and we are using the proper connectors. We're not just sticking bare wire into the amplifier. Now we want the measurements to be exact as usual, so we want to cut it down to size so we can get the right 90-degree bend on these speaker wires. Now we want to go ahead and insulate these with some heat shrink, and I want to put that in. Now, while the heat shrink is still hot, I want to put the zip tie on this first one first. The key is, while it's hot, it's still bendable, and then as it cools, it will stiffen up. That's going to be it for this one. Make sure you stick around for part 2 where we finish it up. Y'all have a blessed one. Peace.